present, three, sorry, can't count. Three. Constitutes a quorum, and I'll turn the meeting over to Chairman Littledale.
Thank you, sir. First order of business is also to declare a quorum. Eric is not with us tonight. Second order of business is to review the minutes, where I think we have a correction to make.
Yes, last month I was present, Chris was absent. It's the only. Yep, it's all good. I was like,
We look a lot.
We do. Chris is more effective than me anyway, but he was gone and I was here, so thank you.
All right. Tonight, we do have a number of items in the county, and two are in the city, and we also have one amendment to Unified Zoning Ordinance. Before we get to that, we will get the procedures and requirements for those who'd like to speak tonight, especially for those who'd like to speak against any issue.
Yes. The meeting tonight will follow a strict set of procedures and standards. You can find these rules out front by where the agendas are located. It's a really long sheet of paper. The meeting will operate by the chairman's direction, which will be to follow the set agenda. Through each item on the agenda, the same standards for each public hearing will be followed. The procedure will firstly be, the chairman will open the public hearing, and at that point, I will give a brief presentation and a recommendation to the Planning Commission. After this, the chairman will ask for the petitioner to come forward and to answer any questions. After the petitioner has been heard, the chairman will ask if anyone has come to speak in favor of the rezoning. After these remarks have been heard, the chairman will ask if anyone would like to come forward to speak in opposition to the rezoning. If you've come to speak in opposition, please fill out a form out there. There's some for the city and some for the county. Once the opposition's remarks have been heard, the chairman will allow the petitioner to come forward again to have a rebuttal against the opposition. If no new information is brought forward in this rebuttal, the chairman will close the public hearing and there will be no further public comment. Then the chairman will move on to the next item on the agenda, and the same procedure will take place. The purpose of the meeting is to hold public hearings on each of the rezonings. No final decisions will be made tonight. The Planning Commission will make a recommendation in the second half of their meeting, which will then be sent forward to the Board of Commissioners for Whitfield County and the Mayor and Council of the cities of Dalton and Varnell. Final action will likely occur in their next meetings.
Thank you. That's it. We're going to move over. Okay. The first request is to hear from Andrew Greason. Are you here? Yes, sir. Very good, thank you. To rezone from suburban agriculture to rural residential R5, tract of land, 2.57 acres at Old Lake Road in Tunnel Hill. This is in the county.
The rezoning request to R5 is sought to serve the purpose of allowing the petitioner to divide the subject property into two tracts. Lot sizes vary significantly in this area, but the majority of the adjacent properties are low-density, single-family in character. Neither the subject property nor the adjacent tracts to the north and south are in conforming status based on their sub-3 acre size. The only notable change the R5 zone district would bring to the subject property could be the introduction of duplex dwellings. However, a lack of public sewer at this location would limit the development potential for multifamily development on a lot of this size. The petitioner's intent to divide the subject property into two lots would create a unit acre density similar to the northern and southern tracts. The new change of the proposed zoning would be the ability to construct two new dwellings as opposed to the one permitted as currently zoned. The staff can recommend an approval of the R5 rezoning based on the following factors and conditions. The R5 rezoning would allow for the subject property to be zoned and developed similarly to adjacent properties. The rezoning is not expected to impact the property values of the surrounding area. The requested rezoning would be a good fit for the comprehensive plan and future development map based on the similar lot size and character of the adjacent properties. One condition to consider is limiting the permitted use of the subject property to a single-family residential to eliminate the concern of introduction of duplex dwellings.
Any questions? Gentlemen, any questions up here? Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Greason? Yes. You can come on up. And state your name and address for the record, and any comments you may have.
Ready?
Yeah.
Andrew Greason, and my address?
Yeah.
215 Cemetery Street, Tunnel Hill.
Any comments, additions?
So like, we was wanting to go to R5, because not the multifamily. It's because the R3 restricts manufactured homes, and I would like for that to be an option, if any way possible. That's really all I've got to say.
Okay, you're looking for R3,
No.
R5?
No,
We got
they,
one here.
yeah, they recommended we may try R3 because everybody, it may have an issue with the duplexes. But I would like to keep it at R5, like I say, because R3 restricts, manufactured homes. So that's why I would like to keep it at R5, but that's what I would like to do.
And R5 would allow manufactured homes.
Yes.
The consideration that he asked us was to limit it to single-family residential. Are you okay with that?
I'm fine with that.
So there's
So
a,
no duplexes?
No.
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, so we would change it to R5 rather than R3, is what?
Well,
because
they sent us a letter and they said, they said you might do an R3 maybe instead of an R5. We requested for an R5, but they was saying R3, and like I say, R3 restricts, manufactured homes.
So this is actually the
That's wrong.
recommendation.
So
the
R5
recommendation to us on
The
here
summary
is
page,
R5.
summary
this.
page says that, yeah.
Yeah. So you want R5?
Yes,
Okay.
but single-family residence is there,
Okay.
No duplexes.
correct.
Any other questions, John? Nope. None? Thank you, sir.
Thank y'all.
Anybody else would like to speak in favor of this request? Anybody like to speak in opposition? Gentleman here, you want to come on that? Did you fill out the paperwork? No. Can you,
We have the paperwork, we haven't filled it out, we just came upon it when we came in.
and sign off on it? If you just have a question, come on up. We'll take that afterward.
I'm Joel Fed, 320 Old Lake Road, Tunnel Hill. We live almost across from this property. There were 2 trailers there temporarily, broken windows, doors left open. The site was not really well prepared. Is that what our future is with this?
Okay. That's your main question?
Yes.
Okay, if you could take a seat again and continue with filling out the paperwork. And sir, would you like to rebut?
No, so.
Come on up again. This is being recorded.
No, so we were like in the process of having the perk test done and everything, and we came across those mobile homes. That's why they got placed there. And then they told us, they said, you cannot have these here until everything is straightened out. So we done what we had to do to get them out of there. So, in other words, they were sitting there and nothing could be done because they said no. And then that's why we're going through this. That is not what would be up there. So
So you're going to remove
Yep.
those?
they've been gone.
They have been taken
They've
out?
been- they've been gone.
New mobile homes or used mobile homes, or what are you putting?
Yeah, we're in the mobile home, business. That's kind of what we do, more installers. I work for Clayton Dealers, and, a lot of times I can get a trade-in or different things like that. So
So these
yeah.
mobile homes will be placed on the lots. I'm assuming the lot
They
will be
new or
subdivided and then
used,
you'll be sold.
Do what now?
They'll be sold?
You're gonna rent?
No, they will be my
Okay.
homes. But I'm saying I'm a contractor. I work for them, so I can get a pretty good deal in some things because that's what I do,
Sure.
for a living.
I think the gentleman's concern is that the previous mobile homes were not taken care of.
Right, but see, they were just placed up there. I wasn't under the impression we had to do all this, and they made us get them out of there. And so we didn't do anything to them but get them gone. Yeah,
Is this mobile homes or manufactured?
Either.
Either one?
They're manufactured homes.
Manufactured homes?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Is there anybody, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is anybody else who'd like to register their opposition? That said, we will move on to the next request. Ma'am, if you could just fill that out and give it to him after the meeting. The next request is from Justin Hasty. Are you here? Okay. Seeking to rezone from general agriculture to C2, commercial, tract of land 28.28 acres at 1.125 Pine Brook Drive. This is in the county.
The petitioner's request was
25, yeah.
was made in order to utilize the subject property for RV storage and an office. The subject property is almost entirely surrounded by agriculture and residential development and zoning. The proposed C2 rezoning would create a significant encroachment on the C2 zone district into the adjacent residential community. While the proposed use of the subject property is not one of an exceptionally high intensity, the other uses permitted in the C2 zone district could introduce a notable contrast in development and zoning if the request is approved. The staff can provide a recommendation to deny the C2 rezoning of the subject property based on the following factors. The C2 zone district would allow for dissimilar zoning and development to the majority of the adjacent and nearby properties. The C2 zone district could potentially have a negative impact on the values of the adjacent and surrounding residential properties. And the C2 zone district would be in conflict with the intent of the emerging suburban character area in the comprehensive plan.
Any questions back here?
Is the entrance to the property from Pine Brook?
It looks like it to me. I believe so.
Well, is that a county road?
I'm not sure. Is that a county road? Pine Brook? Yes.
So the current usage of that site, it's like a tow truck, junk, kind of old vehicles?
Yeah, he can explain that. Any questions? All right, no, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Hasty? Say name and address, please. Just for the record.
Yeah, Justin Hasty. My address is 3105 Highway 201.
Okay, there you go. Just pass it down far in there. And come to the middle.
That's the whole property.
All the same.
My dad got this place, I think it was in 2012, something like that. He built a shop, and he had a trucking company, and if you look on that very first page, you'll see it was tractor and trailers, and then Trinity Disposal parked up there. So there was, I think Dad had about 8 or 10 trucks, something like that. And I think Trinity was up to maybe 15. But Dad had cows on there as well, and then the hay shed to the left of the shop. There's all kind of stuff under there. You know how that works. But so anyways, it's pretty much been a commercial use since 2012. That's the shop right there. It's 4,000 square foot concrete slab. It's got an office in there. You see the parking lot, which we've pretty much emptied it out now since Dad has been gone or whatever, but that's just pictures of it. It used to be, years ago, Carpenter's Junkyard, which was behind the record service that you see there. So it was commercial use, and when I went to Miss Jean, like, we couldn't figure out where the rezone happened to general ag. But I've got the little offices inside there. I use that as an office. The shop's vacant. That's all family stuff up under the shed. So, but my goal is to use that shed. I think it's 40 by 120 or something, just to do RV rental. Park it up under there. There's a guy still actually parks maybe 2 or 3 tractor trailers up there right now. So it comes in off of Pine Brook Drive, what you was asking, Mr. Perez, and it turns, those pictures in that curve, that's where y'all signs at. It turns before you ever get to any residential home. It's in that sharp curve right there, but it comes in, there's probably 100 foot of, maybe 200 foot probably of county road that you're driving on right there.
This property is behind where the Carpenter's garage is.
That's correct. That's correct. It's right behind the lake and yep. And so the blue house that's in the photos, it's right after the driveway photos. That blue house, that's the first one that you come to. I sold that house about 3 years ago, and that whole street on Pine Brook Drive was built, I think it's from 71 to 73. So they're older homes, and some of them's been kept good and some of them not as well. The mobile homes is on the very, very back off of, I can't see that road, something drive in the very back corner.
Green Lake, maybe?
Yeah. And then the one mobile home in the house that's divided is just right there to the south, so. But it's pretty much the same use as it's been. It's been like this. My dad just had cows there and he hauled hay in and out, but he ran his trucking company in and out there too, so it was exactly what's going on right now. It's just got a different zone. And I can't really say, advertise to come rent your spot if I'm zone general ag, and I ain't got no cows up there, so.
And Gene, what prevents him from expanding some of this since he's basically not in compliance already? Oh, he could not, so he can't expand the footprint, but can he use it for different things? Yeah. But depending on what he's putting in,
Before I get in trouble, it just got deeded to me like about a month ago.
no, I'm just thinking, unless he builds a bigger place.
But the historical usage of that property was more intensive than what it is now. I mean, it used to be an
100%.
actual junkyard.
It was a junkyard and then it was a truck. There was probably 20 to 25 tractor trailers went out of there every day until last October,
Yeah, for years,
since 2012.
yeah.
So this would be covered RV storage?
Yeah, so there's a big pole barn. I can give it to y'all 'cause I know where we're
And that's what you,
at. Oh, I don't know. It's been a long, since my dad had it. My dad got it in like 2012, I think.
Okay.
but your goal is to expand the.
Yeah, so what I want to do is like fill that up, and then if I grow, it would be, there's a gravel parking lot that's just sitting vacant now. Build some more, but all the development that we have going on around here, I see it was recommended that it go to single-family residential, and we got a lot of that going on. So all of the things that's being built around the county, there's not enough room to store campers and boats, and if anybody wanted to, so it would be gated. There's been more traffic in out of it in the past ever how many years than there will be, I feel like, with that.
Your intention is to keep using this as being used now.
Yeah, it's the same. I just want to be in compliance.
Can you put the slide up that shows the tracks and what they're presently zoned? So it touches another C2 there where the tow truck
Yes.
operation's at.
And there's a drive, since Dad got it, that's not used anymore, but there is a drive where you come down beside the record building to get to the junkyard, what used to be. So.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, sir. Anybody else would like to speak in favor? Anybody would like to speak in opposition? Very well, we will close that request. The next request is from Alfonso Pimentel. There you are. Seeking to rezone from low-density, single-family residential R2 to rural residential R5, 1.06 acres at 3825 Airport Road. This is in the county.
The petitioner's request was made in order to construct an accessory building for the purpose of storing professional landscaping equipment. This rezoning was prompted by a code enforcement case. To the west is a continuation of the northern tract. The adjacent tracts of land to the north, east, and west are all comparable in size and character, each with single-family detached dwellings. The eastern adjacent tracts are zone GA, are more reflective of the R2 zone district than the GA based on their development character. While the R5 zone district can be near the subject property, the reason for this rezoning is to construct an accessory building for the storage of professional landscaping equipment. The UZO permits professional equipment storage in these types of uses in areas where lots are larger and buffered from neighboring properties. The topography surrounding this subject property makes effective buffering more difficult. based on the multiple adjacent single-family dwellings. The staff can provide a recommendation to deny the requested R5 rezoning of the subject property based on the following factors. The requested R5 rezone district would allow for the use of the subject property in a manner that would be dissimilar to the majority of adjacent zoning and development by permitting the storage of commercial equipment within a neighborhood environment. The eastern adjacent GA tracts are more reflective of the R2 zone district in terms of their existing development. The limited size of the subject property combined with its shape and topography makes the placement of a professional equipment storage building difficult to accomplish without conflicting with the character of the adjacent residential properties.
Thank you. Questions? All right, thank you. Mr. Pimentel? Can you get him to state his name and address for the record and yours?
Mi nombre es Alfonso Pimentel. La dirección es 38 y 25 Airport Road.
My name is Lisbeth Pimentel, and the address is 3825 Airport Road.
Okay, and she is speaking for you, or? Okay,
I'm his
take it.
daughter.
Yes, okay. Have any comments, additions, something you'd like to add?
Well, we didn't know that we couldn't have the equipment there.
Yeah. Could you pull that down just a little? Just, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, okay, so do I say everything I can?
Yes.
No, you can just keep going.
Keep going.
We heard you.
No, you keep going.
So we didn't know we couldn't have them there, so we don't have anywhere else to take them. So we would like to be able to keep them if possible.
And you live there?
No,
He lives there?
yes.
What are we talking about
Yeah, that's
equipment?
what I was asking.
What, are we talking about a couple mowers or 30 mowers, or what's the equipment consist of?
No, they have two mulching machines. They have the trailers where they have to load them, as well as like the trucks to move them and all that.
So you say mulching machines, you're talking like the large tub grinders to where they're actively
Circular
creating
or
mulch.
shredder?
I believe they're circular.
Okay. So, yeah, mulching.
Yes, mulching.
Yes.
¿El equipo que usted tiene es para usar para landscaping,
Es para limpiar terrenos.
limpiar terreno?
Ujú.
Pero solamente mantienen el equipo ahí, no mantienen nada más de lo que quitan de los terrenos, lo mantienen ahí también.
Nada más las máquinas.
So
Yes.
esas máquinas están ahí ahora.
Sí.
So what he
Tell
wants,
us, yeah.
what he wanted to do, he clears lots from trees, and the only thing that he wants to do is to keep the equipment that's presently there. He don't plan to add any other equipment, and he's not planning to accumulate any of the mulch that he.
O sea, esas máquinas van moliendo
Sí.
todo el
Yes,
los árboles.
they know, ellos saben lo que es la máquina. de mulch. You
Is-
know what the
It's like a forestry mulcher,
Correct.
a bobcat with a drum on the front. Okay.
Are you going to build anything to park these things?
They're under a carport right now.
And are you going to build something else to cover them? Or you're just going to keep them the way they are?
Dice que si quieres, ya ves que están abajo del porche. Dice que si les vas a hacer algo más o las vas a mantener ahí nada más.
No, pues la idea es de mantenerlas ahí.
Drop by,
No sé si me van a dejarlas ahí.
He would like to keep them the way they are.
Just the way they are, so you're not expanding the buildings?
No.
Okay. Any other questions?
I believe it's, ¿cuándo nos movimos ahí? ¿Cuándo nos movimos a esa casa?
En el 2014.
Since 2014?
And you've been in that, you were in that business in 2014?
No, eso nos tenemos, ¿qué será? Unos 6 años. 5, 6 años tenemos.
About 5, 6 years?
So Gene, how did this come up?
It was a complaint from a neighbor, but I did want to point out that while the R5 zoning district, if you do decide to rezone it to that, will allow him to have his business there at his house, it has to be inside a building that's enclosed. All four sides have to be enclosed. So while it's in an open shed right now, he would have to enclose that shed if you decide to allow him to rezone to R5.
Is that
Did you understand? Did you understand that? Does he?
Dice que la señora dijo que de la única manera que te pueden permitir dejar las máquinas ahí es que tienen que estar, el porche tiene que estar completamente cerrado. Es la única manera.
You'd have to enclose where you're storing it.
El problema que hay ahora para poderlo mantener en el R5 es que tiene que cerrar el shade. El equipo tiene que estar, que no lo vean. ¿Eso es algún problema?
Pues no, siento que no es ningún problema. Yo más quería saber si me las van a dejar allí, si no, moverlas para Chatsworth con uno de mis hijos, ya que.
Sí, pero si hay que cerrar lo que usted tiene ahora ahí.
Pues haríamos lo posible por cerrarlo.
No, no es lo posible, tendría
pero-
que cerrarlo.
Required.
Sí, sí.
¿Sí?
Sí, pues hacíamos el gasto para cerrarlo.
Yeah, if he needs to close the building, we'll do that.
Okay.
Gene, is there any more information that can come from this code enforcement case? Like, in my mind, I'm picturing, he's got a carport with two pieces of equipment under it, way out in the county, like, okay. Okay, that's kind of where I was going with that questioning.
He'd have to keep whatever that equipment is, all of it, inside.
Or build a bigger building.
Yeah.
¿Entiende esa parte?
Dice,
Todos los equipos que usted tiene ahí tendrían que estar en un sitio cerrado. No como están ahora, en un shade.
Entonces, no nada más las máquinas, también las trailers,
Tráelas.
o sea, indicar con las máquinas.
All the equipment, todo el equipo tiene que estar en un sitio cerrado.
If all the equipment was enclosed already, would it need rezoning?
No. That's the thing, it's not enclosed.
And be,
Because you enclose the building and still enclose the structure, still got to be rezoned to R5.
right.
Correct.
Porque a mí me habían dicho que nada más las puras máquinas son las que tenía que tener en el.
Todo el equipo. Todo. No, he will have the equipment and the trailers. That's correct. Todo,
Everything.
todo lo que sea asociado con esta máquina tiene que estar en un garaje. Un garaje grande.
Bueno, pues si no hay más, hay que moverlas. Porque no tengo espacio para meter las trailers o sea, pues, no tengo el espacio suficiente porque el trailer está muy desanivelado para hacer el jabón, para meter todo.
What's he saying?
Entonces, ¿usted piensa mover ese equipo?
sí.
En cierto modo, yo pienso que sí.
He will have to move the equipment
What, if he didn't build?
if he doesn't enclose.
Yeah, he would have to move it, yes. He could not do that.
¿Sí entiende esa parte, no?
Pues sí, tengo que moverlo. Bueno, pues ni modo. La lucha se la hizo y si no se pudo, pues ni modo.
Okay, I guess it's going on.
Pero más una pregunta, ya nos podemos ir, ya es más de lo que queremos saber.
Oh, he's just asking if we can go ahead and leave after this, or do we have to wait until everybody comes?
No,
Yeah, you don't have to wait.
Okay.
you can go, you can listen in or you can go. Yeah,
Thank you.
Vamos a hacer lo que queremos saber, si lo sé poder tener o no, y si no, pues ya.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else like to speak in favor? Anybody like to speak in opposition? Very well, we will close.
Clue us in on all those conversations. Will you tell us about those conversations later?
Yeah,
Pretty much,
tell me.
he has to have all the equipment under the garage.
So he doesn't think he can do that?
He can do that because of the terrain.
Okay, so is he
So he's gonna
withdrawing it?
move the-
Well,
Yeah, that's what I was just telling Chris, like I drive by this piece of property 3 or 4 times a week, and like, you don't see the house, like, it's probably 20 feet up from the road. Like, you have to be looking up at it.
yeah, but she's also got a fairly decent neighbor,
Yeah.
residence. Okay,
Okay.
we'll just move on.
Yep.
Next request is from Alice Harden. Alice, you here? Okay. Seeking to rezone from low-density, single-family residential R2 to rural residential R5. Tract of land, 4.62 acres at 1008 Ben Hill Road. This is in the county.
The petitioner's request to rezone was made in order to add one manufactured home to the subject property. The subject property lies at the convergence of the R2 and R5 zone districts. While these districts share a residential development character, the R5 zone district permits both duplexes and manufactured homes that are not permitted in the R2 zone district. The petitioner's request was made in order to place the manufactured home, which would introduce a dissimilar dwelling type to the majority of the adjacent and nearby development. While there is an adjacent R5 zone district and a manufactured home, it lies across Airport Road within a consistent R5 zone district. The proposed rezoning would extend the R5 zone district like a wedge into the R2 zone district. The staff can provide a recommendation to deny the R5 rezoning based on the following factors. The R5 zone district would allow the placement of manufactured homes on the subject property that would be dissimilar to the established site-built single-family detached dwellings adjacent to the subject property along the southwest right-of-way of Airport Road. The R5 zone district could serve as an entering wedge along the southwest right-of-way of Airport Road within the consistent R2 zone district. The R5 zone district would be in conflict with the intent of the emerging suburban character area in the comprehensive plan based on the dissimilar dwelling construction type.
Questions? Anybody? All right, thank you. Ms. Harden?
My name is Alice Harden, and I live at 1008 Ben Hill Road. My father's going to come and help speak. He's been trying to help us through the process. But my mother-in-law is in ailing health, and we are needing to place a mobile home on our property so that she has somewhere to live, so that way we are able to check on her and be able to make sure she's getting medication and things like that. So that's why we were wanting to rezone, because we are needing to get a mobile home to be able to watch after her.
Folks, I'm Chuck Oliver. That picture is very misrepresentative of what we're trying to do. I don't know if any of you guys have seen this, but that's that piece of property that's shown in the big red line area right there. This is her property, right here. We want to put the manufactured home, and it's only a 14 by 40, small. They don't have room in their house to board her, they just don't. I own this. We have to, if she puts this here, we have to have septic tank and field lines, obviously, for this mobile home. There's nowhere on her property that can happen. So I'm gonna donate 6/10 of an acre here, which is what's required by the county to have septic tank field lines. It's been tested, it passes, it works. And this is gonna be deeded, this piece right here is gonna be deeded to her mother-in-law in a life trust. As long as she lives there, she pays the taxes on it, whatever they are. And then on her passing, that unit will be sold and dispensed with. The other thing is that I heard, and what the gentleman said up here doesn't ring true. Edwards Circle, which is this road here, comes around and comes back into Ben Hill Road. I counted them myself. There are 10. In 1.6 miles, there are 10 mobile homes in that circle that we're adjacent to. There are course, those other 3 trailers across Airport Road that are within sight, they're 125 yards away. I don't see how this is a wedge, because I have no intention of doing anything with this property until I die. I have 3 children, of which Alice is one. This is my house on a separate piece of property adjacent to it that, you know, they'll dispense with when my wife and I are gone. This is just a simple case of family need. We don't have any other option. She can't be put in a nursing home. She can't take care of herself. She is living currently in my home. And my wife and I are taking care of her. We have to have a place to put her. And if we don't do this, like I say, I don't really need to rezone all this. I just need to rezone that little square right there, 0.62 acres.
Will you put the parcel map back up that shows the different zoning? And Gene, let me ask you a question. The tract size here is 4.62 acres. What is the minimum size for something to be general agriculture? So, but with general agriculture, you can add a second dwelling. Okay, I was just thinking.
We're just almost there, but not.
Okay. Well, I was just thinking you're gonna deed some of that anyway. I was wondering if you could deed it and do general agriculture. If he does that, that will get it, but he'd have to add it to the, not have it separately for her, which would change things.
But that whole green right there, that is the 4 point plus
Yeah,
acres,
this-
all of
this
that.
whole thing, well, actually, 4.62 acres is my property and her property.
Yeah, the whole-
which- Yeah, this whole thing.
Yeah.
And I only need to do 2/3 of an acre.
But if he did do that, then it would very much be physically looking like an island.
I guess you could say that, yeah.
Wait,
Well,
we'll get to you.
if it's deeded in a live trust, it's gonna return to you.
It'll either return to me or to Alice.
her,
Or, you know, she's my daughter. When I die, all of it's gonna be divided between her and her siblings.
And at that point, that mobile home be removed?
It will be removed.
Okay.
We don't want it to be there, but it has to be somewhere.
Okay.
1972, my grandmother lived in a trailer right on the exact same spot. But
All right,
the problem then, you can do anything you want.
I got it.
That's essentially where we are. If we
I
can't
got
do this, or at least some form of this, soon, it's
I
gonna be a
understand.
family.
Okay,
tragedy.
we got you. All right, thank you.
All right?
We'll get to you in a second.
That's just my husband.
Oh.
I was gonna say, his husband.
Clarify with him, he was talking about not looking alike. We will have it all, everything be the same inside of our speed state property.
Sure. Okay.
So we want to use for, it's take care
So you're talking in addition to in favor.
Yes,
of my mom's side.
it's his mom's.
Yeah, you all help me.
All right. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
If you did just that small portion, it'd be an island, you know. All right. Sir? Very good. All right. You'll get a chance to talk to them. All right, anybody else like to speak in favor? Anybody like to speak in opposition?
My neighbors don't care, they already know about it.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to the next request. Jason McFalls, are you here?
I'm here.
Okay. Bottom M. Jason McFalls is seeking to rezone from general agriculture to medium-density, single-family residential, R3, tract of land totaling 1.83 acres at 1781 Houston Valley Road, Ringgold. I guess the address is in Ringgold. Yeah, but it's in Whitfield County. Okay. So this is in the county. You got it.
The petitioner's request to rezone was made in order to divide the subject property and the existing single-family detached dwelling from its parent lot. This area of the county is rural in character and zoning, with GA being the largest zone district. However, the R5 zone district can be seen quite a few properties throughout this area. in proximity to the subject property. The proposed R3 zone district is more restrictive than any adjacent zone district in the area. Only site-built single-family detached dwellings are permitted in the R3 zone district. The nearby R5 zone district permits lots of similar unit acre density as well as manufactured homes and duplex dwellings. The proposed rezoning would be unlikely to change the character of the area since the subject property already contains a single-family detached dwelling. The proposed rezoning would simply allow the subject property to be divided from its parent tract. The staff can provide a recommendation to approve the requested R3 rezoning of the subject property based on the following factors. The requested R3 zone district would allow for the use of the subject property in a manner that would be similar to the established pattern of zoning and development in this area. The single-family detached character of the land use would be preserved. The requested R3 zone district would allow for a smaller lot density than intended in the rural agricultural reserve, but the conservative character of the R3 zone district would be more restricted than several R5 zone districts in the area. Limited size of the subject property does not raise any concerns for negative impact on public infrastructure or utilities.
Questions? Nope, thank you. Thank you. Mr. McFalls?
Name's Jason McFalls. I'm at 662 Heritage Circle, Chatsworth, Georgia. Basically, what I'm after is, right now it's general agriculture. Basically, what I'm doing is looking to cut that off and sell that piece of property instead of having to sell that with 5 acres. Basically, my dad passed away 2.5 years ago, and basically I'm down to that piece of property. So I was kind of looking at fixing it up and reselling it or selling it as it is. So the biggest reason for the rezone is to cut off this amount of acres versus 5. As the general agriculture, if I sold that piece of property, I'd have to sell it as 5 acres, the way it's zoned.
You understand that? Okay.
Yeah, basically, you just don't want to get.
I just
you
don't want
wanna-
to sell
you wanna
5 acres.
Maintain more of the property
Yes,
for yourself.
yeah,
I got it.
which there's almost 40 acres there. I'm just wanting to
Yep.
limit the amount I'm selling.
Okay, this wedge is that.
Yeah, and that's what it is.
Got it.
And that's 1.83, 1.86. Yeah.
Square it off.
Yeah, yeah, I was just straightening it up. The property's at angle. You can see the other property beside it. It's got the building down there. That's my other property and across the road.
Okay,
Yep, that's what I'm after.
questions? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anybody else like to speak in favor? Anybody like to speak in opposition? I think, of him?
Let's come up here.
Yeah, come on up, we'll just assume they're positive questions.
Sarah Johnson, 1200 Wimpy Road, Ringgold, just down from there. We just had a couple things we were trying to as we're trying to understand the situation and clarify our understanding and our feelings about it. First of all, the address. Can you clarify the address, like on the mailbox, it's 1833?
the mailbox is 1833.
So the house is 18,
Look it up, when Gene and them looked at it, it comes up as the 1781.
911 has it as 1781.
Yeah, that's why it's done that way.
okay. And yeah, so basic understanding, was this the correct piece of property in question, or was that gonna cause a problem later? And then, I guess just, why not R5, like a lot of the other pieces in the area?
The reason I didn't do that is if I did it R5, it gives the ability to do mobile homes, duplexes. I may build across the road. I didn't want that.
Right,
I don't want
right.
somebody putting trailers and.
Right, I mean, there's a trailer right there.
Yes.
So that was kind of what we wondered, you know.
And that
there's-
is true.
Yeah.
That was
so,
done and,
Okay,
So it's more restrictive.
yeah.
right,
I did
okay,
more restricted.
all right. Well, that helps clarify, that's all,
Okay,
that's all
very
we
good.
wanted to know. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, anybody speak in opposition? Sir, come on up.
My name is Barry Pina, P-I-N-A. I live at 300 Whippoorwill Way, which is just out of sight there. I have a couple of petitions from the people who live there. Who would I give them to? They're in opposition. And I'm just going to read what's on the petition. We strongly oppose the rezoning request. We thought it was 1833, 17, whatever it is, made by Jason McFalls. We feel that would that rezoning would change and be incompatible with the harmony and character of our rural neighborhood. It could cause an overload of infrastructure and set a bad precedent with inconsistent legal standing. Although we do have R5 zoning, I live in R5 zoning. My piece of property is 2 acres. Everyone else on that property that's zoned R5 has 1.5 acres or more. There's no R3. I looked up what the requirements are. It requires 1,000 square foot house, about the size of a mobile home. And I know this doesn't allow for mobile homes, but it's that size. And the size of the property can be as small as 0.17 acres, which is a tiny little lot. You saying no?
That's if he has sewer.
If you have sewer, and there is sewer on that road. I didn't know that. Okay.
Everybody say.
With sewer, that would be the case. I stand corrected. Thank you. In any case, all of the houses there are on 1.5 acres or more. You can look at the other picture and see that all the houses are. This is a rural area. People move there because they wanted to live in a rural area, not in a urban area, which is what R3 is geared toward, according to the what county website? Yes, sir.
But this is 1.8 acres, right?
It's more than 1.5.
But if you zoned it R3, you could divide it.
You could, but I don't see that.
Why?
So the thing that worries us is the precedent that this sets. Okay, he has R3. Why can't we have R3 or R5 even? And subdivide it into little tiny lots.
So my question is for the petitioner.
Yeah.
So, there you are. So did you consider asking to be rezoned R2? Or what?
I'm fine with R2. Mainly what I'm after is it be restricted where it's not mobile homes or duplexes put there, because I may move over R2. The reason I'm cutting it off like I am is to sell that piece of property and keep it at a smaller size. Where I could have took it 5 acres and I wouldn't be here, but I didn't want
Right.
to sell it.
Yeah, I understand what you're doing.
And like they are, that was the piece of property that we used to own, he lives on, they did it R5. I didn't want to do it R5 like they got, is to allow the mobile homes and the duplexes.
So Gene, do you mind, just so everybody hears, just a very brief difference of R2 and R3? If this was R2 versus R3, what would that change that might alleviate their concerns and still achieve what he wants to achieve?
Each one only allows one single-family dwelling. R3, minimum house size is 1,000 square feet of heated space. R2, minimum house size is 1,200 square feet of heated space. So they're very, very similar.
Yeah.
The lot size is different, though.
Sir?
The potent,
No, lot size is determined by septic system, regardless. So you would have the same lot size in R3 as you would in R2 if you had a septic system.
With this.
you talk.
Footage of that.
The house that on it right now is nearly 1,600 square foot, so that's what's on it now. So if you can look up there towards the road, that's right at 1,600 square foot, it's 2-story.
So either of those zoning would only allow one home. And there's already a home on there that is in excess square footage of both of the minimums of both of those two different zoning.
So my concern is, could that lot be subdivided?
No.
I don't see how, with that shape.
Really, there's a lot of as you can see, mainly up there towards the house, that's field, after that it drops down the hill, so really the back is just.
Not usable.
It's gonna be hard to do anything.
Yeah.
Mainly we did it, mainly did that square out piece of property.
All right, thank you.
To alleviate your concern, I think most of your houses, like you said, right now are on the 1.5 acres. This is going to be larger than 1.5. So that should.
With only one house allowed.
My concern was subdivision, not.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
They can't.
no way. I mean,
Not gonna
and if there's ever sewer out there, we've got 500,000 people living in Whitfield County and we're all moving to the mountains. So it's, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I lived on House to Valley out there for 14 years. I'm very familiar with it, and I don't think you'll ever have sewer
right.
that far out.
Question, sir, for the petitioner. If this would change to R2?
Yeah, I'm fine with either one.
Okay, I mean,
It doesn't matter.
that restricts the size of the house a little bit more.
Thank you.
All right. That's it. Let's move on to the next request. And this one's from A.V. Davenport. Is that correct? Make sure I'm still in order here. Seeking to rezone from R5 to GA, a tract of land 28.96 acres located at 336 Sagamore Drive. Amy Davenport, are you here?
Yep.
Oh, there you are. Okay. Go ahead.
The petitioner's request was made in order to add one additional single-family detached dwelling to the subject property. The proposed GA rezoning would simply enlarge the adjacent GA zone district and shrink the R5 zone district in this area. The only benefit of having the subject property zoned R5 would be for a major subdivision development, which would be challenging based on the subject property's topography and limited road frontage. The proposed rezoning would be consistent with the established pattern of zoning and development in the area. The staff can provide a recommendation to approve the GA rezoning of the subject property based on the following factors. The GA zone district would allow for similar zoning and use compared to the majority of adjacent and nearby properties. The GA zone district is unlikely to have any negative impact on the values of adjacent properties due to the considerable topographical variation, which makes intensive agricultural development highly unlikely. The GA zone district would not be in conflict with the intent of the emerging suburban character area in the comprehensive plan based on the amount of adjacent residential and agricultural zoning and development.
No questions? All right, thank you.
You.
Ms. Davenport?
Amy?
Is this Amy?
No. Does she need?
But both of our names are on the property as well.
That's true, that's true.
So I'm Adam Davenport, 336 Sagamore Drive.
Okay. Any comments? Additions?
Nothing more to add, we just want the option in the future of adding a future family residence. That's pretty much
Okay.
it.
Questions? None? Thank you. Anybody else like to speak in favor? Anybody speak in opposition? Very well, let's move on to the next request. Is to hear from Salud Kuna. Are you here? Very well. To rezone from rural residential R5 to heavy manufacturing M2, tract of land at .4 acres at 2104 Waring Road in the county.
The petitioner's request to rezone was made in order to construct an additional building for the purpose of expanding the existing manufacturing business. The subject property is adjacent to a larger tract to the east and the south zoned and developed for heavy manufacturing. The adjacent M2 zone district of land is a spot zone of manufactured zoning and land use surrounded by the R5 zone districts. There are no other adjacent manufacturing zone districts or developments. If the subject property is rezoned, the existing spot zone would be enlarged. The staff can provide a recommendation to deny the requested M2 rezoning of the subject property based on the following factors. The requested M2 zone district would allow for the use of the subject property in a manner that would be dissimilar to the majority of the adjacent zoning and development by enlarging an existing manufacturing spot zone surrounded by single-family detached residential development and zoning. Any existing negative impact on the values of adjacent nearby residential properties will only be worsened by the enlargement of existing M2 spot zoning. The proposed M2 rezoning would be in conflict with the intent of the emerging suburban character area within the comprehensive plan.
Questions? All right, thanks, sir. Kuna?
you know anywhere I can get some pallets?
Yes. Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Salud. Mi dirección 544 Andy Lane, Dalton, Georgia. Él me va a ayudar.
I'm J.D. Birchfield. We're neighbors. I've known Mr. Sloop for 15 years now. I drive a truck for him, and I've lived there 80 years, Wareham Road, that same place. And we bought Red Bramlett's old house place there at the railroad crossing, and we converted it into a parking lot, employee parking. And we didn't know it was zoned, well, at R5, we needed to get it switched over. That's why what we requested, it be changed from R5 to commercial there.
So it's already been used like that already, right? I mean, it's,
And I think the situation is they want to build a building on the property, which should be rezoned.
So this heavy manufacturing as opposed to just C2?
I mean, it is just pallets.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
I mean,
yeah.
Is
either
that-
one, it's already been used. as a-
Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
Is that manufacturing then?
Yeah.
Technically it is, hammer nails.
Okay.
He manufactures pallets,
Yep.
Yeah.
nail guns, saws, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But he's looking to, the site there is the overall site, the whole,
Can you put the zoning thing back
Yep,
up?
put it under one tax thing. I
well,
think
it's,
that's what-
this is showing,
So
okay.
That's where
That's
they're,
it
that's
right
where they're making the pallets
Okay.
now in the purple.
Yeah, all of that.
And then that little site piece is an old home place that it's adjacent to where they're making the pallets that they
I
use
wonder
for
when that one was
employee
in.
parking. And they want to put a
Wonder when
building
that was
there,
designed.
which they've got buildings in the purple already making pallets, and they're just wanting to use that, not just for
Oh,
parking.
Okay, so that's yellow underneath there. Is that what you're saying?
Mhm.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
I got you.
yeah.
Any other questions?
No.
Nope. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else like to speak in favor? Anybody like to speak in opposition? Excellent. The next one is our final one for the commissioners. NF Land and Wilderness Homes. Did you raise your hand? Okay, thank you. Seeking rezone from R2 to R5, a tract of land 7.525 acres at 1722 Ball Avenue. This one is also in the county.
The petitioner's request to rezone was made in order to construct two duplexes. The subject property lies at the convergence of the R2 and R5 zone districts. The primary differences in these zone districts would be the introduction of duplex dwellings, smaller lot sizes, and dwelling sizes. The lot and dwelling size differences would not create a significant contrast at this location based on the adjacent and nearby properties. However, the introduction of duplex dwellings would contrast with the established single-family detached character of the area. With the concern for duplex dwellings, the staff would propose a consideration of the R3 zone district at this location as a compromise. The R3 zone district would allow for the same lot size, reduce the minimum dwelling size while maintaining the single-family detached development character seen on the majority of the adjacent properties. The staff can provide a recommendation to approve an R3 rezoning of the subject property based on the following factors. The R3 zone district would better reflect the established single-family detached character of this area while permitting a higher lot density and a smaller minimum dwelling size. The R3 zone district would provide for a smoother transition between the R2 and R5 zone districts at this location. And the R3 zone district would be a better fit for the suburban character area based on the adjacent R2 zone district and surrounding single-family detached development.
I'm a little confused.
Yeah.
We're going from R2 to R3 or R5 or R3, but is he going to expand a manufacturing business?
That's what it said, yeah, that's what
Is
we
that a
got on our
typo?
paperwork.
Is that?
It must have been a typo. Yes.
Okay. Something brought
So it's for
forward.
duplexes.
Oh, yes, Ethan did that, and he just forgot to switch that over, sorry.
Okay.
Yes, we caught that today, we just didn't have time to fix it.
Okay, so you're suggesting R3.
Yes, we are suggesting R3.
Okay.
And it's not for expanding manufacturing businesses for duplexes?
No,
That
ma'am,
was
no,
for
ma'am.
the
The-
previous
On
one
that
we just
version of the
looked
staff analysis, it was incorrect, and I noticed this morning.
Cut and
Gotcha.
paste.
Okay.
Okay. Commissioners, no questions? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, NFL? Is that what? and F land.
You're thinking about football.
It's almost here.
I'm Nick Frame. My address is 1907 Clematis Drive in Chattanooga. I think it would be helpful to distinguish these two different parcels. They have two different road frontages. One is at Thread Mill. So our intention there is to cut that in half and build two single-family detached homes. However, I do think there's a pretty strong precedence of having it rezoned to R5. The neighboring property was just rezoned to R5 from R2 last winter without any duplex exclusion clauses. So, and then moving on to Ball Avenue, and I do have several pictures for you guys if you'd like to see them.
Well,
Sure.
just start over here.
Thank you.
So this is starting on the Ball Avenue side. Yeah, and so just to reiterate, we would like to push for R5 on the Thread Mill side to allow us the option to build duplexes, but our intention is to build single-family detached. But on Ball, so there's an existing home there in the center of the 6 acres or so. Our plan is to carve that out and then create 4 lots along Ball Avenue. For several reasons, we think R5 would be the best fit along Ball. To start, we're the only driveway on Ball Avenue that's not either R5, R7, or I think there's one random C2 property there. At 1732, which is 2 properties to our south, you can see this newly constructed duplex and also our driveway in the same frame. And then to the immediate south is a mobile home. And then to the immediate north is what's described as, and I quote, adjacent manufactured home park. So there's 6 mailboxes at the road with at least 5 different mobile homes. And actually, I was over there the other day, and one of them closest to the property line is keeping a rooster. So, yeah, for this reason, I don't think it's particularly conducive to single-family detached. So we'd like to build duplexes there as a buffer. I think it would be a better fit for, shorter-term renters.
So that multi-mobile home that's on that Tarpley Way?
Tarpley Way must be
Yes, okay.
In the corner of Thread Mill and Ball.
It's the next property, the north of our property.
Okay.
So we would like to request R5.
Okay.
How many duplexes are you thinking?
Say 4 off Ball and 1 off the other one, is that right? Is that what I heard?
We would like to build 4 on Ball and then probably have 2 single-family detached on Thread Mill. So
We
six-
utilize the land that's back off of Ball, or will all 4 duplexes be on the street of Ball?
We're deciding somewhere between, we have roughly 200 feet, a little over 200 feet of road frontage there to create the 4 lots. So they'd be roughly about 50 by approximately 250 deep. So they
The only
would
way
be-
to get 4 then is to turn those duplexes sideways to where the sides are facing the road.
No, they'd be
Face the road?
30 foot,
Yeah.
30 feet wide.
Patrick Wilder, 4562 Peden Loop. And I think our position on going with R5 is, like he's stating, the trailers that are to the north there, we kind of want to create a buffer there in between that piece of property and ours. And if we do a duplex there, that's a little bit more conducive to somebody renting the property versus if we build a home there and somebody shows up and they look over there and they go, well, we've got some trailers that are really in disrepair that needs some attention to it. And it would give a buffer for that. But yeah, there again stating that we're the only piece of property there on Ball Avenue that is not R5. And then the piece of property to the north there that was rezoned to R5 without any occlusions of a duplex was approved in December.
Does that answer your question about the depth?
I mean,
Usable property towards the
I was
west?
just looking through, it looks like it's got a power line easement
Oh.
running through on the far right of the property, so obviously that part's not usable.
So that would,
You have 200 feet off the
Past-
setback.
Past the driveway, so there's actually 270, so we're gonna leave roughly 70 with the existing home, and then we'll have 4 lots that'll be 50 by 250 or so, and then that way you can, even with a 15-foot side lot, you'll be able to put a 35-foot wide duplex there.
So it'd be 4 duplexes, which make 8 and 2 houses, correct?
No,
that would be if you give us approval for the 4 on Ball,
Yeah.
and then if you went with the R3 on Threadmill, that would be
That's what I
2
said. That's one
single-family
question.
homes
Oh,
there.
wait,
Maybe
plus
10
two.
units altogether.
10 residences,
eight doors plus 2.
plus 2, yeah, 10 overall. Okay. You guys got it?
Thank you.
Brad?
I'm just trying to visualize.
I think there may be a picture of,
Like, I'm just looking at the aerial, so
Sketch where they're gonna be.
yeah, there's another
Oh,
sketch.
right, I mean, I have the lots.
what I was trying to sketch out, just so I could understand it was
There's a sketch paper there.
border.
That's not,
This is it.
I passed them down.
Obviously, this part right here is not usable.
There
You
it
get
is.
power.
Yeah.
lines.
That should clear it up.
Oh, so this is where he's gonna, yeah. there you
Okay,
go.
so it is 4 right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's actually, 270 feet there, but.
And the
Maybe
power
just
line,
over
the
50 feet
driveway.
apiece, which. And then the
You got
power line
15
stuff.
15-foot setbacks,
No.
35-foot line.
All right. You guys good?
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anybody else would like to speak in favor? Anybody would like to speak in opposition? Very well, thank you. We will move over to the next thing. Item is an amendment to the Unified Zoning Ordinance. Want to run through it for us?
The amendment was requested by the city of Dalton. They would like to add a new definition for a small events venue. And that definition would be a place designed or used for hosting events, meetings, or gatherings with an occupancy load of 50 or less persons with no overnight lodging. And there would be a new line on the permitted use table for this. And the staff can recommend approval for that text amendment.
Any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Does anybody like to speak in favor of this amendment? Anybody like to speak in opposition? Very well. We'll move over to the next. The county commissioners will be leaving us at this time because we have 2 city requests to get to. The next one is to hear from Sebastian Araque to rezone from C1 to R5, a tract of land 1.74 acres located on Trammell Street and Jones Street in Dalton. This one is in the city of Dalton. Sir? Sir? Trying to move forward here.
The petitioner's request to rezone was made in order to construct two duplex dwellings. The property lies at the convergence of the R3 and C1 zone districts. The 3 southern adjacent C1 properties contain either a single-family detached dwelling or a duplex dwelling. Residential dwellings are non-conforming in the C1 zone district. The proposed R5 zone district would permit the proposed duplex dwellings on the subject property as well as to bring the existing duplex dwelling into conformity. There are two duplex dwellings adjacent to the subject property as well as the existing duplex dwelling on the subject property, which shows an existing multifamily development pattern. The adjacent C1 properties to the south of the subject property are more consistent with the proposed R5 zone district than their current C1 zoning. The staff can provide a recommendation to approve the R5 rezoning of the subject property based on the following factors. The R5 zone district would allow for similar zoning and development to the majority of the adjacent and nearby properties. The R5 zone district would be unlikely to have a negative impact on the values of adjacent properties based on their existing zoning and development. And the R5 zone district would be a good fit for the town neighborhood character area in the comprehensive plan.
Good. Thank you. Don't have any questions? Okay, Mr. Arkley? Did I say that right? Aroki. Okay.
Hey, I'm Sebastian Aroki, 1109 North Orton Avenue. I represent the Salvation Army, and this property owned by the Salvation Army has all been zoned the same, but we obviously already have two existing duplexes sitting on one of those lots, actually. And we worked with the city to the lots, the three lots that are adjacent to each other, 1108, 1110, and 1112, with the city residential demolition program to get the houses that were on those two lots demolished and leveled. We are working with HUD and the DCA, the Department of Community Affairs, in the state of Georgia to receive a $1.5 million grant to expand on our program that we currently have there, which serves as transitional housing. It's a 6-month to 2-year program, completely free to residents and the goal of that is to make them self-sustaining citizens of our community. Over the last 2 years, we've had a 100% success rate in getting the residents through the program, which means after they move out of the program, they have a stable source of income to maintain themselves, and they have moved into permanent housing. So again, this is a 6-month to 2-year program. With the $1.5 million grant, it would allow us to build 2 more duplexes exactly like the ones we have currently. And the state of Georgia has asked us to increase that grant to $5 million to potentially add more. But at this time, we just want to make sure we can handle the project currently. So we would like to move that zoning first to be in compliance with our current ones, but also to expand on that land.
All right. Very good. Any questions?
Great program.
Yeah, sounds good. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else like to speak in favor? Anybody like to speak in opposition? All right, thank you. We'll move on to the next one. And Octavio is going to step out for a minute. Well, I missed one. Oh, well. Next request is to hear from Octavio Perez to rezone from high-density residential R7 to general commercial C2 attractive land, 0.7 acres, located at 501 North Hamilton Street in the city of Dalton.
The requested rezoning to C2 is sought to serve the purpose of allowing the petitioner to use the subject property as a convenience store. The area surrounding the subject property is one of great diversity from a land use perspective. In this area, there is a mix of single-family, multifamily, commercial, and manufacturing zoning and land use. The subject property itself has also seen uses or multiple uses within the existing building since it was constructed in 1959, ranging from a grocery store to a funeral home. The subject property has been vacant for some time now. Based on the size of the subject property's existing structure and existing parking area, there is sufficient space for a commercial retail use of the subject property. The proposed rezoning would be comparable to its existing development and former zoning. There would be very little expectation for a change in the character of the subject property based on the existing commercial building. The staff can provide a recommendation that the C2 zoning be approved based on the following factors. The C2 rezoning would allow for the vacant commercial building of the subject property to be occupied. Anticipation of adverse impact of property values surrounding the subject property is not expected, and the requested C2 zoning would be a better fit for the comprehensive plan and future development map. Thank you.
No questions, no questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
So how do we?
Speaking on behalf of Octavio? Does somebody speak on behalf of Octavio?
Yeah.
Yes, Darren Haynes.
Okay.
Okay. was gonna say, how can we do this?
Just gonna run around in front.
All day. Yeah.
I'm joking. My name's Darren Payne, 1300 Azalea Drive. Just briefly, a little bit about the property. The surrounding area has zoning diversity, single-family, multifamily, commercial manufacturing. Zoning would be comparable, as stated already. The requesting zoning C2 was the prior zoning, so it's just reverting back to the original zoning. Since 1959, the property has been several businesses, funeral home, community store, and the proposed buyer of this property is going to establish a community store, convenience store, not gas pumps. 0.7 of an acre, and the goal is to turn a vacant building into an occupied, income-producing business that brings a need to the community and sales tax revenue. And I think most importantly, Octavio told me that I told him I'd buy this property if you didn't rezone it, and I can't do that. Any questions?
No. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else like to speak in favor? Anybody like to speak in opposition? Very well. Thank you. We will move on, and that will close the public portion of this meeting. You're welcome to stay and listen, but you will not be able to take part in anything here. Okay. Starting with number one, or number A, Andrew Greason. Let's see which this one was. It's a tract of land all the way up in Catoosa.
The manufacturing house on it, I think. But there was a recommendation to limit it to single-family residential, so basically no duplex is
So
what.
not R5, go to R3? Is that what you're saying?
No, this to be rezoned to R5.
Yeah, but then,
Well, the thing says R3, but then the staff conclusion recommends R5. You look at the
With the
front.
condition of no duplexes.
Right.
I move to be approved.
Second.
okay, Octavio makes the motion, Chris seconds. All in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it unanimously. Next one is Justin Hasty, seeking to rezone from general agriculture to C2. That is the one off behind Carpenter's, is that right?
Yeah, it's been used, I mean, much more an intensive usage than what he's talking about
Yeah.
doing. I mean,
I move to approve.
I'll second.
Octavio makes the first, Chris makes the second. All in favor of approval, say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Next one is Alfonso and Margarita Pimentel.
The equipment.
Had to
That's the
had to close it.
I think he threw in the towel. Well,
Well, this condition exists also on the city, and they allow that to happen if it's a member of the family. So, especially if this is going to be deeded with the life trust. Or
No, this is the
under-
one-
This is different.
one. This was the one
This
with
is
the
the guy
equipment.
that you're gonna have to translate for us. This was the.
Oh,
This was the
okay.
guy with
Yeah.
the equipment was
Well,
gonna put it in.
he's going to have to move the equipment.
yeah, he said he's not going to, sounded like he's not going to build walls, so
Yeah.
we can't approve it.
Move, we deny.
Chris makes a motion to deny.
Second. Whoever.
Brad seconds. All in favor of denial, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed to denial?
Now, the one you were talking about.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
You up? You with us? Okay.
I'm sorry. I was making sure I had his name right.
I didn't want to get ahead of you. Yeah, it was Brad.
You know,
I move to be approved to R5.
Which one's this?
that's the one where,
The mother-in-law.
mother-in-law,
Mother-in-laws.
you know, with
Oh.
the, gonna do the life
Yeah.
trust there. I
I
second
second.
Octavio.
But I think we need to put that condition over here.
What?
That is, they don't mention, it's not, nowhere mentioned over here that it's gonna be deeded. on a live trust.
I
Do we
don't know
need
if
to
you-
do
Can
that?
you condition?
Can you do it?
Can you condition that? I don't think you can do that.
I don't know, well,
Robert's left? yeah.
What's the question? Like, if zoning would
think-
revert back upon,
Her death?
well, if you did property on a live trust, that means that once the person die, that has to come back to the same.
sure.
I hear that it cannot be done. Well, there's a family who is gonna deed tract of land. The zone will be R5. That's the only way they can put a mobile home there. But there's a live trust where once the mother die, they're gonna come back to be what the present zoning is R2.
R2.
The conveyance can be made to her for life, and then with remainder over to whoever they put in the deed, that it be a remainder over to.
So it's
Tony was asking though, from a zoning standpoint.
zoning standpoint, what do you?
If zoning would revert back.
I don't think you can do
I
that.
don't think.
Yeah, I don't think you can do that. I move we approve it.
Second.
All right, motion is Chris to approve, Jody seconds, all in favor of approval? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Jason McFalls, let's see this one. Oh, this is the one out, yeah.
So I move we approve a rezoning to R2. He was okay with
Yeah.
that.
I would second that.
All right. Chris makes a motion, Brad seconds to approve R2, right?
Correct.
Correct, to R2. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, Davenport's.
I would make a motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Brad makes motion, Chris seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Approval? All opposed? The ayes have it. Okay. Salute Kuna. This is where it's,
I move to be approved.
Second.
all right, Octavia makes motion to approve, Chris seconds, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it, it's approved. Okay, Wilderness Homes. He's seeking to go from R2 to R5
For duplexes.
for duplexes, not
Not
manufacturing.
manufacturing business.
Yeah. Word processing, can't trust it. AI, you can't trust it. Any discussion? This is out off Threadmill, down,
This is the
By
four
Rollins
duplexes
Park.
and two houses. Yeah.
I move to be approved as a R5.
Octavia makes a motion,
I second.
Chris seconds, all in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the ayes have it. Okay, the ordinance,
Move we approve.
Chris makes a motion to approve.
Second.
I'm ready.
Jody seconds,
Have it.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Guys,
Not quite yet.
Sebastian,
No, I say, make a motion to approve transitional housing.
was it Roki? Did I get it
Hiroki.
right this time?
I don't remember.
Okay, got it right
We
this
got
time.
thumbs up, so we're.
And I second Jody's.
Jody first, Chris seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. And then again, Mr. Perez.
Motion to approve as presented.
Chris, Brad makes a motion to approve, Chris seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And all opposed, the ayes have it. I think we approved yours. Okay. Again, this gets passed to, I guess, the county in your case.
Yes.
What is the county's, next meeting is Monday, the
July the 14th, I believe.
July the 14th? Really? That far? Okay. 3 weeks out? Yeah. Okay,
We got any plats?
yep.
Okay. Okay.
That's all we got?
Y'all need these back?
I was looking for it. I was like, where'd it go?
The tray.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank y'all.
We stand adjourned?
Yep. Unless there are any objections, we're adjourned.
Perfect. Thank you.
But don't tell us that.
Be like when you fall asleep in class in high school. You wake up 3 hours later.
Oh, that's me.
I'm gonna tell them it's been bad.
All right.
Sorry, man.
Take my 2 dinners home with me.
There you go.
I'm gonna go with it's still cold-ish. Cold enough. All right, thanks, Jim. Bye, guys.
Bye, see ya.
Y'all have a good one. Thank you. Bye, Dean. Thank you. Bye, thank you.
Was this our farm talk?
Have you?
Girlfriend.
Have a good evening.
Thank you, guys.
I bet it still feels 100 degrees outside.
You want some food back there?
I may grab some.
Yeah.